Hello everyone, it's Shel C from PaperOcotilloStudio. Today I'm sharing with you another art journal page in my junk journal made out of junk mail. This is for hashtag Art Journal Habit 2018, which is a month-long daily art journaling challenge brought to you by Art Joy of Sharing. So for this day 24, the prompt was country, but yesterday on day 23, I had a collaboration video, and so I didn't want to make a page and a video to compete with that, so I didn't make one. So the prompt for yesterday was gold, and so I combined the two of them, and I got Gold Country, and that is a place that I have visited before in California. As a child and also even as an adult, just driving around up there and, checking out all the national parks and things like that in this particular area, which is kind of northern California. And that's where the gold rush happened. That's where all the people came west because they heard there was going to be gold in them hills. And they just all came out. And that's kind of how the western part of the United States got settled, was because of the gold in California and, other western states. But California was the big one, and they still use that as a tourist draw, as, the place that California gold rush happened. They've got brochures and things, and tours and whatever. So I thought, since I was combining gold and country, that would be what I would do the page about today. So I printed a map of the area of Northern California that is Gold Country. It's like off of the brochure, but I printed it off the internet. It's ephemera if I had picked it up when I was there and kept it, because ephemera means stuff that you saved, like concert tickets and brochures and programs and flowers from your wedding and all that stuff. That's what actual ephemera is. But nowadays, people just print it and you can buy it. Like, you can buy stuff that looks like old ephemera from scrapbooking companies or whatever. So this one I just printed off the internet. It's just a little map and I cut it out. I like the colors of it. And then there was also this little thing that is like a little logo for Gold Country. I printed that too while I was messing around. And so I attached both of those things after painting my page with black gesso. I put the map and the little logo thing on using some Liquitex matte gel medium. And then I wanted to make some sort of a focal image, a figure. I haven't been doing much drawing this challenge because I just don't have time. Drawing takes time, but I wanted to make a drawing today, and so I used my mechanical pencil and my white eraser, like I always do, on some mixed media paper, and drew a little dude, an old prospector guy who is panning for gold in the stream. And then after I was okay with my drawing, I went ahead and used the medium nib from my Pitt illustration pens, which are India ink pens that become permanent when they're dry on your paper, so you can color over the top of them. They don't go anywhere. And I drew around my lines, and then I also used the extra small XS nib on the parts that were really fine, like the lines in the beard and hair and the lines around the face and things like that. So I really just used two sized nibs on this illustration. If I'm really doing an illustration, I use multiple line weights because it makes it more interesting. But this was a quickie. I'm actually on this day traveling again and will be gone for the rest of the month. But I still have videos because I made them in advance. But I'm actually traveling today. So all my pages this year for this challenge, and remember, we've been doing this for 4 years now, this November daily video challenge for 4 years. And maybe you guys haven't really noticed, but in my end You know, at the end screen when the video is over, the credits come, and there's a couple links there on that end screen. I've been putting some of the previous year's pages that were on the same date. So if it's the 20th of 2018, I would put the 20th from 2017 and the 20th from either 15 or 16. And so those links are actually what I did on those days a year ago. So I bet you not a single one of you has noticed that. But I've been carefully searching out those videos that go with the same date and the same challenge, only a year or 2 years or 3 years past. So this time I'm going to put the 24th, hopefully, if I can find the videos. You know, there's a lot of videos on my channel now. There's well over 500. And so it becomes a little bit difficult to find what I'm looking for. I have to know exactly what I called it, which is tricky. But anyway, back to what I was doing. I finished my line work with my illustration pins. And now I thought to myself, what should I color with? What should I color with? What haven't I colored with yet on any of these pages for actual coloring in of images? And I decided to use acrylic paint. So these acrylic paints in this basket are the Decoart fluid media paints. And because they are fluid, they are artist colors and artist pigment grade. They're high quality, but there's a lot of the colors are translucent because it's a fluid. And some colors are always translucent, like yellow, and some colors are always opaque, like titanium white or opaque white. They do make a translucent white, but in general, white is going to be an opaque color. So you just have to kind of know that. Otherwise, most of these paints are pretty translucent. So I figured that I would go ahead and paint with them as if I was coloring in, only just painting in. So I'm using some of my acrylic handled brushes. These are my favorite brushes only because I throw my brushes in water and I leave them soaking in there. And when I have the wood handled ones, the wood swells up and the paint flakes off. So I like these acrylic handled brushes a lot. I don't need a real expensive fancy brush to do acrylic painting. In fact, if it's a little bit scrubby, it's a little bit better even for me. You know, I don't worry too much about the quality or the expensiveness of the brush. What I like about these brushes is the handles. They don't swell up and flake and make me annoyed. So they are from Royal Langnickel, which is a reputable brush company, but they're not expensive. So I'm just, with these paints, like I said, they're artist quality. They're highly pigmented paint. It just takes the tiniest little drop of these colors. They're intense colors. And so I'm trying not to waste paint. I'm just taking teeny tiny little drops as small as I can out of the bottles. And these are only 1 ounce bottles, but I've had them, you know, now for a couple years yet. And I still haven't used them up. So they last a long time. They're nice little paints. I need a bigger basket because I got some new colors and I don't have enough room in the basket for the new colors. When I was at the art retreat recently, Decoart was very kind to send us lots of paints and mediums to try out. So I got some new colors of the fluid media paint that I didn't have before. And now I got to get a new basket. I need to do some serious organization in my room, in my studio. It's just, yeah, things are just a mess. But I'll get to that maybe in December or maybe the beginning of the year. I don't know. So to make a skin color, I was looking for a pretty dark skin because, you know, these prospector guys, they were outside in the sun and they got darkened quite a bit. But I mixed the red with the ochre and white to get a skin color. So you don't have to have a pre-made skin color. You can always blend it yourself. And then to do a little bit of shadowing and highlights, I just add either some white or some brown or black. So pretty easy to do. It's not difficult. Once you know that yellow and red and white together make skin, that's just something you have to remember. I also mixed a little red in to make him some cheeks because he probably's got sunburned cheeks from being out in, the crazy weather all the time trying to find that gold in them hills. So I also am mixing in a little bit of black with red to make some shadowed areas of his shirt, and then a little bit of the red with a little bit of the white to make the highlights, like you do. You can paint something a solid color, or you can get a little bit more creative and, make a little bit of a variation to the color. I didn't go crazy, but I did make it slightly more interesting. And of course, I painted a stream and I painted some rocks like you would be sitting on or kneeling in when you were panning for gold. I actually have panned for gold before. I did that as a child when we were, visiting Yosemite and places like that, which is where this area is. That was an option. You could pan for gold and they would show you how to do it. And I remember one time we went to somebody's cabin for a while. We stayed there, myself and my cousins, and I don't remember whose cabin it was or where it was, but I remember that we panned for gold in the stream, but it was iron pyrite, which is called fool's gold, is what we got. It wasn't actually gold, but it was shiny and it looked like gold flakes, but it was not. It was fool's gold. But we had a lot of fun playing in the creek and, trying to pretend like we were panning for gold. I have no idea how old I was or when that was or where it was, but it was fun. And that's what this page is about, is fun. Going up and touring the country. I know a lot of you are from other countries, and I would sure like to come tour your country, and I sure would recommend that you come and tour ours. We have a lot of really good stuff in the United States to see, lots of national parks and national treasures and interesting and beautiful country. Lots of different kinds, deserts, forests, mountains, it's a lot to look at here. So, yeah, after I was done painting, I just did go back in and add back in a few of the lines because I painted over them. And when you paint over something that with a opaque or semi-opaque paint, you cover up the lines a little bit. So I highlighted them again. Then I glued this down to the page with my Liquitex matte gel, like you do. And I spritzed the back of the paper a little bit because it is mixed media paper, which is a heavier paper. This is the Canson brand mixed media paper from a big pad that I have. I chopped off a piece of it at some point and I had it on my desk. So then once that was dry, I just added some shadows along the left-hand side because the colors of the hat and things were blending in too much with the color of that map ephemera. So that shadow just gives, a little bit of a line there for good. And then a little bit of white highlights, and that was it. I hope you've enjoyed this video and this video series. I'll see you again tomorrow with a new page. So I don't even know what it's going to be, but I'll find out when I make it. So thumbs up, comments, subscribe, share, all those things. I know I ask you every single day this month to do those things, but they're still important, even on day 24. The last little thing I did was to do some gold metallic splatters as if it was, gold nuggets just splattered around the page. And that is it for day 24. Thanks. Bye-bye.